Hello, you hominoids. Guess where we are? Oh, let's have a look. Yes, we're out in the scrub. We're out in the bush, but we're not really out in the bush, really. We're at our favourite club out here, Kemps Creek Bowling Club. Yeah, K-E-M-P-S, Creek. Now, all that over there you can see is part of the construction for the new Sydney Airport and the rail. So, I don't know exactly, or it might be the tip. But big piles of fresh dirt over there. Sorry, I can't quite see the screen when I'm filming. Fresh soil out there. I haven't been out here for 4 months. The club's only just opened up on Monday. Today's Saturday. And this is how great this club is. Now check this out. Have a look. Now I'm standing up here on top of the fence, right? Look at this, look. We even got a grey Nomad, and they let them park out here at the club because the car park goes right round the back. See? And they don't mind. So I can see 6 pairs of legs over there. No, 8. So there's 4 people. There's 4 people over there. Sorry about that. Put the camera down. There's obviously the resident manager's house. Somebody's got to live on site. Oh yeah, here they all come. Look, oh, look at everybody coming. Look, oh, look, there they all come. Anyway, let's not invade their privacy. Anyway, what a beautiful day. It's fantastic. The wind's blowing. Now, I've had a couple of emails. Crouton Bear in Austin, Texas. Hello to you and your brother. Hope you're going well. I'm looking at you for Skippy. I can't see Skippy at the moment. I think she shot through. I think she took Joey, and she might have grabbed Blueberry Bear and took that one. Now, Crouton Bear has a YouTube channel, and now on Rumble, and she does kid stories with teddy bears and things like that. Downy Live. Michael, when are you coming down to Australia, mate? Look, we got the Holden racing team car. Got the Holden thing on there for mobile. Now I'll zoom that down a bit. That might have been a bit big. I can't see the camera, so there we go. So look, yeah, I do have decent clothes. I do dress up like a bum. It's a part of my little thing I do, because I don't want people coming up to me all the time and saying, oh, can I borrow $100 because you're the YouTube guy and you travel all over the countryside like the Leyland Brothers. Sorry, people from overseas, the Leyland Brothers. Ask the Leyland Brothers, ask the Leyland Brothers. Well, that was a TV show, and Leyland Brothers had a TV show. They had 2 4-wheel drives, 2 camper vans, and their 4 kids, or 2 kids, and they travelled all across Alice Springs, out through the deserts, and then went up in the North Queensland, and they were the pioneers of YouTubing, but in TV, but with the old-fashioned film cameras. And they actually, one story was they broke down somewhere and they had a helicopter in a new clutch and pressure plate 3,000 kilometres to get to their Leyland 4-wheel drive, because their family owned Leyland motor vehicles. And that's why the Leyland Brothers could afford to drive all around the countryside. And it was Mike and Mal. And I think Mal, or Mike died, and Mal is now up at Taree, I think, or somewhere. And he's now in his late 70s. Anyway, they invented the Australian Animal Park up there on the Pacific Highway north of Newcastle, and it's got a big, I think it's a dinosaur or something. I can't remember, a big crocodile or something like Australian Park or something, I think they call it. Anyway, yeah, so that's just getting off the topic. So I'm out here at Kemps Creek. And of course, we just come out of lockdown, and I'm showing you the amount of cars are now on the road. Sorry, even the poles wobbling in the wind. It just gives you an idea how the floodgates are opened with people wanting to go out. And I was the first car here, now there's 6 cars here. And here comes number 7. And the club's been open since 11, it's now 12:30, our time. So Mike Downey over there in Canada sent you a couple of videos. Go down on my channel, anybody wants to have a look. Tenterfield, Ralph. You'll see me driving that little white car there, coming into Tenterfield in northern New South Wales, 800 kilometres north. And I go into the museum I started up there on a railway museum called the Tenterfield Railway Station Preservation Society Museum. And I helped about 10 years ago to get my father's train up there. And also in the video you'll see the 1886 diagram only I could find to give to the museum of the original first drawing proposed for Tenterfield Station in 1886. Now you think, so what? Well, what the story was is that the museum was just starting off. There's about 5 people there. And I said, where's it? And I went up there working for railways, doing the survey on all the disused railway lines throughout New South Wales. Now listen carefully, I do all the disused railway lines throughout the whole state of New South Wales, 26 of them. So you imagine how many hundreds of kilometres that is. Now for example, Armidale to Tenterfield to Wallingarra Jennings is 240 kilometres plus sidings. Well, actually it is 222 kilometres plus sidings, but so it's about 240. And I said to Tenterfield Railway Museum, I said, where is your original station diagram? And they said, oh, we can't find it. The local Member of Parliament can't find it, the state government can't find it, the railways can't find it, the federal government can't find it, nobody else can find it. I said, well, they can't find it. And they said, why? I said, because I've got it. And they said, what are you talking about? I said, I've got it, the original 1886 diagram. Because that's what I do. That's what I did. I did all the disused railway lines, so that come under my jurisdiction. So that was sitting right behind me at my office table, and it was an 1886 diagram, and it was on not paper, what do you used to call it? I can't think of it. Baleen? Oh, I can't think of the word. Anyway, so I took it downstairs with 2 armed security guards with guns. Yes, that's how high security was, 2 guys with guns. They put it on the largest photocopier in the southern hemisphere at the time in York Street, Sydney, above Wynyard train station. And I then posted that copy up to them, and I took a copy home there for me. And then eventually in 1999 they closed down my office because we changed again from rail access to now State Rail and ARTC, any railway people listening to this, Australian Rail Track Control, which is federal. And they sent that document out to the state government archive from the railway archives. So the railway archives down there in Sydney were sending it out over here, about 70 kilometres away, to the New South Wales State Government Archives, and it disappeared. It's gone. So nobody can find it. So yeah, so if you look at that, it's Tenterfield Railway Station. You see a picture of a guy standing there in the beginning of the picture. His name's Ian. I walk up, I said, oh, you don't know who I am, and there's a doorbell as I walk in, and you see the little trolley cars. Well, that station had holes in the platform, holes in the ceiling. The place was a complete mess. It hadn't been used for 15 years. The vandals have got into it, and now it's a beautiful museum. So we've got train carriages up there from all over Sydney. We got a steam engine from Emu Plains, which is directly from here, about 20 k's that way from the old siding yard. I can't think it was a quarry or a timber yard or something. That's up there, little Emu Plains steam engine, and an old goods wagon and meat wagons. And 622 was a train my father used to drive with me when I was 18. So because I know what I know, and I'm in there with the railway people, and I arranged to get the train that my father used to drive, and I used to sit next to him, and he used to let me drive 622, and you can see it on Google Earth. Yes, get on Google Earth. Tenterfield, T-E-N-T-E-R, Field, New South Wales. And then you'll see the railway station, and you'll see two long red carriages. Mine's the one on the northern end, which is more, well, you can work out which way is north, 622. And I'm helping get that up there. And in my video, you see me walk into it, and I go through all the light switches and how I used to drive with Dad, the marker lights and the horn, and how to start and stop the motors. And so, obviously, because I used to start it down there with Dad. So, I helped get that museum started. And then 20 k's north of that is Jennings, New South Wales. And as you walk across the road, let's just say, for example, right here's the road, and you walk across the road about where he is, there's a platform, and it goes Wollongara Railway Station. Now on Wollongara train station, when you walk up the ramp like that, when you get up to the top, there's a red line across it, and that is the border, and they've inserted a piece of rail across, and it's actually the Queensland border. It's actually right through the beginning of the platform. And I also started that. I got the newspaper clipping at home. I can put it up there one day, and when I get this computer up and running, which I bought 6 months ago, still haven't got it working right. And I got the Wollongara Railway Station restaurant started. It was abandoned, the Queensland Rail. I went in there and I said, what are you going to do? And they said, no, we're closing it down, we're going to leave it. The station master's name was Peter. And he's now since retired. He then went back to Stanthorpe in Queensland. Then he went up, retired, went up to Harvey Bay. Yeah, I know everybody tells me everything. This is what I do. Anyway, so we've got $100,000 into that and start up the Wollongara restaurant. And it's got alcohol, it's got souvenirs, clothing, because of the coronavirus. People weren't allowed to go over the border, and of course the border is right on the station, so nobody was driving down the New England Highway, which is, if this is the ocean, that's the coast road, that'd be the Pacific Highway. The New England Highway is 200 k's inland parallel, and you come right up here to the border. This is Jennings, this is Wollongara, and the platform is like that, right at the very end, the beginning of the border's right across the platform. So of course nobody went to the restaurant there for the last 9 months. So the woman there took a lease on it, and she's had to sell clothing, and she's actually got a 1940s electric kettle, 1940, immaculate condition. You know the old yellow jugs you used to buy with a black lid, and you plug the square plug in the back with a black and white dotted lead? And it had the two bars come down with a curly wire, and it goes around a square thing. Yeah, she's actually got one of them up there for sale for $35. So if anybody's into antiques, she's selling antiques at the Wollongara Railway Station. You can give her a ring. It's in the phone book, and it's also on Google Maps, and the phone number comes up. That's another thing I've done. What else have I done? Help get started the certified Candos to Rylstone, and they spent $1.1 million reopening the line out to there. And I've also done all the track inspections down Tumbarumba and Tumut and Gundagai and places like that, way down the south. And I was watching iRocker. Now iRocker, you've seen a picture, if Mr. iRocker gets to watch this, or if anybody knows iRocker over there, and I think he's Ohio, I think. He's seen a picture of a clothesline with all the ice hanging off it. Well, that was down the Snowy Mountains. That's down at Jindabyne. That's the Snowy Mountains, which is the Snowy Mountain scheme. And the other one he's seen was a rock, the weather gauging rock, and it's just a joke. And that's at Tenterfield, where the Tenterfield Railway Museum is. So if you want to see that, you can go watch iRocker, Strange Things in Australia, I think he called it. So if you want to see that, Jindabyne's down the south. It's south of Cooma. Oh, sorry, west of Cooma, east of Tumbarumba. Down there past Gilmore and places like that. I can tell you all sorts of places down there. I've been all down there through everywhere. Anyway, I'm going to go in here to the lovely Kemps Creek Bowling Club. There we go, people. Come down and have a look. Check it out. If you're here in Sydney, come and check it out. I've had my double vaccination, which you've got to have. And I've also got my little mask in case I need that inside. And I'm going to have a day out here with my old mate who's 76 and be 77 in December. So he's still going well. And he was the man, now this is a bit trivia, got the Yellow Pages phone book to put the word stock taking in as a heading for businesses. Because Yellow Pages said, what's stock taking? He said, well, I go out to shops and he said, I count all this stock. Or I go out to somewhere and I count stock for people. So when you sell a business to somebody else, somebody's got to count all the stock. So it's called stock taking. Well, he started that 55 years ago. Well, 50 years, it was now 76, 50 years ago. And you think, oh, yeah, big whoopee. Well, he done his apprenticeship in business under Rupert Murdoch in England, and he was one of the guys that printed the first Sun newspaper in England, and he has still got the copy of that newspaper, the first paper printed by the Sun in England by Rupert Murdoch over 50 years ago. He's still got it. He's got it put away, safekeeping. So the amount of people I know, and he's very good friends with another former Prime Minister of Australia, which is one I got the video of way down on my channel, where he opposed same-sex marriage until he found out one of his own kids were gay. And then, of course, that made him look stupid, so then he got kicked out of the Liberal Party. And that was... oh, God, I can't think of his name now. I'll think of it in a second. I've got a blank spot. Blink, blank. Oh, look at the white cockatoos. Tony Abbott. I think of it. Yeah, Tony Abbott. So there's a Tony Abbott video down on my channel, him dressed up as a bloke marrying Tony Abbott dressed up as a woman. So you're going to have a look at that. It's painted on the side of a building at Redfern in Sydney, next door to Central, in Redfern Street. I think it's about the corner of George Street, I think, off memory. So I've got a fantastic memory, I've got a photographic memory. So, Dowdy Live, you come down to Australia, mate, you don't need a map with me, because I go all over New South Wales without even using a street directory or a map. Because I was a cab driver in Sydney for 17 years and a country cab driver in New South Wales for 15 years. And I also do all the disused railway lines throughout the whole state of New South Wales. And I drove around down here in a 10 tonne, 12.5 metre long mobile home house bus. Yes, so I quite often talk about it on the channel. A lot of my regular viewers and people that know me. Anybody that knows me, leave a comment. Did I used to own a 12.5 metre long 10 tonne house bus, green, with white rims? And it was called Yay Old Nelly. So I'm trying to find it actually. Somebody bought it 10 years ago. So if anybody in Sydney or New South Wales hears about a green bus with white wheel rims, Yay Old Nelly, Y-E-H-O-L-D-N-E-L-L-Y. That's my old bus. I want to buy it back. I spent 50,000 on it. I miss the old girl, because I'm getting out of the city of Sydney and I'm going to hit the road again. So Mr. Hominoid's going to be back on the highway. Now this coronavirus thing's gone through the country and it's sorted itself out. I'm just watching the traffic. I just can't believe the amount of cars going past. And we're going to go out bush. We're going to go camping and go out to Gundagai, Tumbarumba, Jerilderie, Narrandera, Griffith, Leeton, Uabalong West. What? Yeah, Uabalong West. Yeah, go and look that one up. U with a U, Abalong. It's actually EU. Uabalong West. It's between Parks and Broken Hill. Anyway, it's way out there. It's anyway, places like Rosedale, down near Cootamundra, Wagga Wagga. Might go out to where they're building the new big railway line from Melbourne to Brisbane. That's using up part of the disused railway lines I used to do. And one of them was Moree, out there at Moree, and went out to a town called North Star. And that was an old railway sleeper with 2 pegs in it. So you got the railway sleeper and just 2 pegs either side of a rail, no plates, no nothing. And that was North Star, and that was closed down 1979, 1980. And now they've revamped it, all new ballast, and put a concrete sleepers in and 110k an hour speed limit train track. North Star, North Star, North Star, New South Wales. Go and look it up. I went out there with the old wooden rails, and now it's a brand new railway line, and it's been built right through up into Queensland to go into Brisbane to take all the big container trains from Melbourne up through Albury. Then they turn left about Cootamundra, I think, and then they go up through Stockington and Stockingdale, and then they cross up out the back and go up there through up to North Star, go over the Queensland border, and then they turn to the right to the east and go out to Brisbane. So yeah, so I'm a very knowledgeable guy. I'm not giving myself a pat in the back, but you don't know me and you don't know what I know and the things I designed. I also designed all the wheelchair cabs for the 2000 Olympics, and I got a letter from the Minister of Transport, Mr. Carl Scully, at the time in 1997, saying thank you very much, what a great job I did. And I transformed 50 brand new Mercedes-Benz vans into wheelchair cabs for the Paralympics. 50 of them. And I had, and never been done before, turned a Mercedes-Benz van into a wheelchair carrying vehicle. And I had to work out all the electrics, the hoist motors, how to put the straps in, the seat belts, come under the RTA regulations at the time. And it was a nightmare, but I did it because I also do automotive structural engineering. I used to get a car, 4-door Ford, say like that one there, but earlier model, and cut it in half and extend it 1.4 metres and make it into a limo. It's another thing I used to do, and I've got photographs of that too, so people can't say you're a bullshit artist. Bullshit artist here in Australia, it's not a swear word. Anyway, I'm going to go in here in the club at Kemps Creek. I just hope you like that little walk around, little yak, what Mr. Hominoid's all about. And I've got to have 2 new knee replacements next year. So my truck down on my channel, you can get in and have a look, got firebombed. It's now been repaired under insurance and sold, and it's still getting done, but it's sold. And the tractor got repaired and it's been sold. It's going to a new home, or on its way or whatever, with a slasher and the grader. And another 2 cars have been done up and another one is untouched. I won't say about that in case the arsonists are watching this video. My truck's like that one over there, like that white one over there. Let's have a look. I'll see if we can catch him out the front. Something like that. Yeah. If you want to look it up, it's a Mitsubishi FM215 1983 model. I do all the old vintage vehicles in the 1975s, 1977, 1932, 1934, 1984 Ford Mustang from America, converted to right-hand drive. What else I got? 1975 FJ40, 1977 Holden Kingswood V8 muscle car, which is something that iRocker would love to see. V8 muscle car, 1977 Holden Kingswood, gold sedan. Got that little white one there, little cheap Hyundai. That's a car I'm going to give away about $2,000. Anybody wants it? It's worth about 4. It's fully serviced, new tyres, everything else. And what else we got? We've got a Nissan Printara 93, giving that away. Somebody else says I gave that away. They wanted that. They love it. They love the old Nissans. They're a Nissan car collector because they're coming up to the 30-year age group, so they get to put it under vintage. And what else I got? 1992-93 EB Ford, which was Dad's, and it's been written off twice, 3 times. We've rebuilt that. And what else have I done? I've done the Holden Vectra, which is a heap of crap. European sports car, as they call them. Holden's no longer here in Australia, and it's not really even a Holden, it's really a Vauxhall. So, from England. So, spent $700-800 on that to $1,000, about to get that registered with the tow ball. And then I'll put my big trailer back together. It's got 2 pieces. There's a canopy goes on top. That's going to go behind the bus if I get the bus back. If not, I'll go build another one. It's $11,000 to go buy a Busways bus at the moment. Yes, Busway buses in Australia are selling all their white buses for $11,000. And as an engineer, I can tell you they're the only ones you can use to turn into a motorhome because they're flat or flat-ish on the floor without steps in them. And they've also got the emergency fire system around the motor. Now, people don't know that from overseas. Here in Australia, we had a bus went over the Sydney Harbour Bridge one day to caught fire, and all the people had to get off the bus going over the Harbour Bridge, and this government bus caught fire. So the government then made it mandatory that all buses, whether government or public and private, carrying anybody, had to have an automatic fire extinguisher system fitted. So all these Busway buses that they're now selling have got this fire retardant system. So if you're driving down the road and the motor catches fire, it will automatically put the fire out, which is fantastic if it's a motorhome. If you're asleep in bed above the motor, because they're in the rear end, not like my old Bedford, she was a centre mount motor, which means the motor was in the middle behind the front wheels and the radiator was up the front and the diff was down the back. It didn't need a fire extinguisher because it was just a compression diesel. But these Busway buses are high-tech, high-temperature, computerised nightmares. They've got this automatic fire extinguisher system in them, the same as the government Mercedes buses you see in any news clips around Sydney about Sydney buses. They've all got the mandatory fire extinguisher system. There's a YouTube video on Sydney bus catches fire, Sydney Harbour Bridge, a couple of years ago. You can see it. That's why it happened. Being an automotive structural engineer, I was interested to see how they'd fix it. Anyway, I've been talking for 27 minutes. This video only goes for 30, then it cuts out. So I'm going to say goodbye, and hallelujah pub, here I come. First time in the pub for 4 months since I was out here making my last video. And I'm going to go have a nice lunch with my old friend, who I think is just coming. Is he coming? Where is he? Where is he? No, it's a blue car. No, it's not him. And I'm going to go have a nice lunch and my first beer in 4 months. Which I'm not usually a beer drinker, but I'm going to celebrate. So I'll have one up there for all my 160 something followers. Thank you for following me. Click like, share and subscribe if you like knowing all the things I do. Automotive structural engineering, civil engineering, wooden timber railway bridge engineering, knowledge of the whole state of New South Wales, any country town you want to know anything about New South Wales, wildlife, animals like that white cockatoo just flying over there. Where is he? There he goes. You can see him down there, I think. I think the camera's got him. I can't really see the screen. Kangaroos, numbats. It's actually, who was it? iRocker was trying to work out the saying of, wasn't a numbat. Oh God, I forgot what it was now. It was a bilby, and there was another one he was looking at. I can't think of its name now. Not a kiwi thing. It's a it's like a spiny anteater, but it's not a spiny anteater. Can't think of its name. As soon as I stop the video, I'll think of it. As usual, I'm getting old. Echidna, that's it. Echidna. That's so iRocker. Anybody knows iRocker in America, in Ohio, I think he is. Tell him the word is echidna. The Australian strange animal ones he was doing. It's called a echidna, and we say the word not emu as emu. It's not. It's pronounced emu. The same as kookaburra, not kookaburra, like somebody likes to say. Kookaburra. Old man sings like the kookaburra, you know. The old man sings, wow, wow, wow. If you want to go and listen to that song, that's by John Williamson, Kookaburra. Yeah, John Williamson. He sings the Kookaburra song. It's such a wealth of information here. Anyway, so goodbye from Mr. Hominoid. I think my clock's nearly up. Can't even bloody see the time. There we go, 30 minutes and 30 seconds. See you later from Mr. Hominoid Down Under. Slap, like, share.